YouTube fam? It's your girl Kaisha Creates, and today Kaisha is creating the Hocus Pocus Spell Book. Alright, now I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Let's go ahead. We're gonna have to see how this thing works. I don't even know if I can do this, but I saw a tutorial online by C Lemon. I don't know her actual name. That's the name of her channel. It's called C Lemon, and she does arts and crafts, and like literally her channel is amazing. So you guys definitely check her out, because I'm gonna have her up on my iPad as I attempt to make this. I'm just showing you guys that I'm doing this. It's a little bit less of a tutorial, and it's more like journey with me as I attempt to make probably the hardest thing I've ever made in my life. So that's what we're doing today. I keep looking over here because my coffee is brewing on the stove, or my espresso I should say. So I just really need to make sure that that does not go everywhere and set the place on fire. I'm just gonna talk to you a little bit about what my materials are really quickly. So I got this calculus book from a bookshop that is actually down the street from my apartment. Let me tell you the name of it. It's called Sisters Uptown, and they are a bookstore and cultural center. It's such a vibe. I went in there, and like I didn't even actually have to go inside because this book was a free book on the outside of the store, but I went inside because I'm like, I want to see what this whole thing is about. And so when I went inside, it was just such a vibe. They had a coffee shop in there, and you know, it was a little girl in there that was, you know, playing around, clearly waiting on, you know, one of her parents or whatever. And it was just such a vibe. It was like really awesome. So it's a black bookstore, so it's all like these really, really incredible black books, which I am excited to go back when I get paid, okay? That's dangerous. Me in a bookstore and a paycheck? What? Anyway, you guys should check them out if you're in New York, and if you've never heard of them, great place. So I got this book from there, and it cost me nothing. Now, the other things that are probably the most key parts of this whole thing is the model magic clay. I honestly probably could have done it all in one pack, but I'm nervous that I'm gonna, you know, not have enough. So I literally bought 3 packs just in case, because I don't want to have to go back to the store, because Michael's is not close to me, so I didn't want to have to go back. I have Mod Podge. This is how I'm gonna make the eyeball. This is probably the part I'm most nervous about, because to be honest, I wanted something different, but I couldn't get it, so we're gonna try to make this work. I have some paintbrushes. Oh, this glue stick is not for this project. That's for when I'm gonna do my eyebrows when I'm Winifred. I have, knocking things over. I have some hinges so that I can actually make this work. Now, I also need magnets, which I don't currently have. So I'm either going to use Velcro, as my friend Raven suggested. Thank you, girl. Or I'm going to just wait and put the magnet on once I can get some. So I don't have the magnets yet. Do need those, but I do have these hinges that I got from the hardware store. And then I have a variety of paint. So I have black. I couldn't decide on what brown I wanted, y'all. So I bought 3 different colors of brown. So we're going to either use one of these or some variation of all 3 or 2 or whatever. I have yellow. Oh, my coffee! I have silver, and I have puffy paint. I'll be right back. And we're back. So I was telling you guys that I have all this paint. I have some scissors just in case I need it. And then I also need paper towel, which isn't here yet, and a Sharpie. So I'm going to go grab those things, and then we're going to get started. So I just want everyone, if you believe in the power of prayer, go ahead and pray for your girl, because listen, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're gonna give it a try. Okay, so I'm fully acknowledging that this may not be the safest way to approach this, but you should, if you're not of age to be doing this stuff, you know what I mean? But I am being careful. Oh my God. This is much harder to cut than I thought it would be. All right. We did it. All right, it wasn't a clean cut either, but you know, we're gonna try to make this work. All right, guys, it's time to get it started. So I'm getting my paint together. I ended up going to the store and buying white paint because I knew it wasn't going to turn out exactly how I wanted if I didn't have the white paint. So I bought white paint and green paint. And so what you see me doing here is basically giving that half of that foam ball a good coat of white. I let that dry, and then after it dried, I went on and I started to sketch out the pupil of the eyeball. So I do that in black, and then I start to add some green. I put a little black in the middle, but I wanted most of it to be green. So there we go. So this is what I have so far for the eye. I'm gonna add some additional like white details inside of the eye, like the pupil part, but I need to let this dry because it's a lot of layers of paint. So here I am attempting to stick this eye on with Mod Podge, but as you can see, it's not gonna work. The Mod Podge is not really working for this, so I'm gonna have to heat up my glue gun. So while my glue gun is heating up, I decided to go ahead and just sketch out the design of the book. I have a picture of the book up on my cell phone, as you can see to my left, and so I just sketched out a design, and then I made up one for the back. That's not even real. I just made it up how I wanted to. So now what you see me doing is basically tearing pieces of paper towel that match the design that I just sketched. And I do that all over the book until it's completely covered. And after I get it covered, I'm going to put another layer of Mod Podge over the entire book. This actually took me quite a while because I wanted the shapes to be like right. So it was a journey. And so now what you see me doing is basically using my hot glue gun to put the eye on. In hindsight, you guys, I would have moved this over so much more so that I could have had more room for like the closure, but it ended up turning out okay. So now that the eyeball is on here, I want to make sure that that has plenty of time to dry. I'm going to go ahead and put a layer over the entire book. And then I'm also going to come back with paper towel and make sure that I create an eyelid and then a little bit of an eyelid on the bottom as well. Here I am gluing the magnet on so that this closure thing can start to be a thing. And so this is what it ends up looking like after I get, paper towel over the entire book. I don't have footage of this, but I ended up actually bunching parts of the paper towel on the book to make sure that there were portions that felt like it was a little bit raised. It gives it that creepy look because this is supposed to look like human skin, right? And so I end up doing that as well. While all of that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start molding the pieces of clay. This took a long time. You guys, I am not even trying to hype it right now, but seriously? I have never taken this long on any kind of arts and crafts project, and I actually am going nuts. So it's 8 o'clock. Oh my God, I'm spitting. It's 8 o'clock at night. I started working on this around 10 o'clock this morning. Whew. Your sis is tired, okay? Like, I'm actually sleepy. Oh my God, I am so glad. I was like, oh, I'll just wait, and do this in the evenings while I'm working to work on this. So glad I didn't make that decision because I would have been mad. This definitely took much longer than I anticipated, but I'm glad that I have a really good basis of, making sure that this is, am I hearing things? I'm going nuts. I'm glad that I at least got it started and everything. So, okay, what I'm about to start doing before I go to bed, because I want this to have the opportunity to dry, is I'm going to paint the book. Now, because this is white, it's probably not showing up well in the camera, but that's okay. You guys will see it in a second. I'm going to start painting that, and then I'm going to just let these dry. These are all of the clay portions that are going to be glued on top of the book. I actually can't paint them for 3 days because it said in order for them to set, they have to sit for 72 hours. So that's going to have to just sit and be great. Now to this book, and then to the bed, okay? Okay. I literally worked on this book all day, you guys. So I figured before I went to bed, it was important for me to be able to paint it because I knew I wanted to have time to be able to glue the pieces on. So I started by painting it black to give the book a little bit more dimension. I just took the black and painted it over the raised parts of the book as the tutorial I watched suggested, and this made it look so freaking cool. I'm so glad I did the black. And then after I added the black, I ended up going in with a brown. Now, the consistency of this paint was pretty strange. I had to really work with it, but it ended up turning out so good, you guys, that like when I got to this part, I was like, oh, this is for real. This is for real. So now, Here are all of the clay pieces that I molded. I just put them aside so that I wouldn't knock them over. And so here I am going back and filling in with more paint. The one thing I wish I would have done is used paper towel that didn't have, designs in it, because the ridges of the designs, like on the paper towel, it left a lot of white. So I ended up having to go back a couple of times to try to fill it in a little bit more. And then I decided to let some of the white shine through because I was like, whatever, it'll give it some character. And so now you're seeing me paint the clay pieces. I decided to go ahead and paint them. And now I'm just placing them after they dry. I'm just placing them to ensure that they're going to fit in the right spot. It's really important that you place things before you actually start gluing. You want to make sure you're gluing everything in the right place. To clarify, I let those clay pieces dry overnight. Like the paint, I let it dry overnight. You guys, this project has taken so much time. But I am really pleased with how it is turning out so far. And that's right, so far, because we are still not done. But this is what I have so far. It's looking really, really good. So there are a couple of imperfections that people probably would never notice unless I told them. So I'll share with you. See the spine situation here? If I have time, I'll fix that. But that might take me some time, energy, and effort to fix. But yeah, because of how I had the book laid out, when I was working on it, I didn't catch the spine. Also, there's a piece coming off, which I do plan to fix that at the very least, because I have to glue the fingers on the side. I made this wrong, so I actually have to make this again, which is so annoying. I made it the wrong way. This part is supposed to go on the outside, and it's just not enough room for it to truly fit around the eye the correct way. So I'm just gonna make another one, which is annoying, but we've got to get her done because my shoot is on Thursday. Today is Tuesday. Oh, and by the way, I look a mess. I just got done working out, and I have maybe 15-20 minutes before I have to log on for work. So let me go get my life together. So here I am gluing on the fingers, the creepy part of the book, right? So I'm just gluing those on and making sure that they are secure. Whew, Lord. All right, so we're getting there. We're coming down to the home stretch. This is where we are. This is how we're doing. This little magnet right here is what is going to make the closure like snap. It's going to make the book have an actual closure. So I'm going to try to make that real quick. You guys, making this closure was pretty hard. I actually made it backwards by accident the first time. And this is what I was saying about moving the eye over, because it would have given this closure more room. And so I ended up actually having to make it a couple of times because I needed to make sure that each piece was the perfect size for the height of this book. And that took quite a while to be able to get it to work. All right, you guys, without any further ado, I'm going to show you my finished Hocus Pocus Spell Book. I hope you like it as much as I do. Guys, it's a wrap. Make sure you go over to my blog so that you can see the full Winifred Sanderson look. I put a lot of time into this, so I would love it if you would check out all of the pictures. And then also make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, because I created some really incredible, awesome TikToks and Reels for you, and I want you to check them out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.